Yo, what is up, guys? Gamerverse back again, here to do another review for you guys today, man. Today we are reviewing a game that actually released a while ago. It is the Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes. Um, the game did release back in October 2021. The reason why I'm reviewing it now is because I actually didn't do a review on it. I never played the game when it was released. I just kind of hold it back on the game. And it actually is quite worth still playing today. If you are a fan of the Dark Pictures Anthology, I wouldn't say it's one of their best games, but I guess it is actually worth playing. The story is actually kind of good, and I found myself playing it and played it for like 2 days, and I sunk at least like 15 hours into the game. It does take 6 hours to complete though. But without any further delay, let's hop straight into the topics. First, let's talk about the game's story. I'll give you guys an overview of the plot without spoiling anything. So you play as this crew. You play with like four characters, and the plot of the game is you actually play as these army soldiers going in to investigate a bio weapon that might be in this specific place, and you end up discovering something that you never thought you would find. You discover something very horrific, very evil, so to say, and it just gets out of control after the first 2 hours of in getting into the game as you play. The story is like as quite not as any horror game is, but the monsters that the game features is quite scary sometimes. It's not as scary, but I mean it is a decent horror game, and it is story driven, and it is decision based as well. So yeah, that's it. And you get characters, of course, and there's development. These characters, as you know, in the Dark Pictures Anthology, there's character development and decisions that you make, of course. The branching choices that you make affect the story, so there might be a different outcome depending on how you play, and who survives at the end of the game. And of course, everybody can survive, but it just depends on how you play. If you don't let anyone die, and of course, there is lots of themes of horror and survival. So yeah, it's a survival story, it's a horror story, and of course, there is some heartfelt moments as well in the story that you get to experience. Yeah, that's it for story, guys. Don't want to talk too much about the story, as the story is, of course, the main meat of the game. But I feel like that's all that you have to know when it comes to the story. Next, let's talk about the gameplay. Let's get into the gameplay. For the gameplay, of course, the main mechanics is the QTEs. If you don't know what QTEs are, sorry, it is quick time events. Quick time events is like when there's a specific part in the game and you have to press certain buttons to, of course, progress and to save certain parts of the game. And yeah, those are your quick time events, and that impacts the experience a lot because depending on how good you are at it, that will definitely have an impact on the story and how good you are progressing in the story, of course. And then, of course, there is also exploration and a little bit of puzzle solving as well. There's character movement, of course, and interactions with the environment, of course. And there is replayability as well due to different story outcomes, like I mentioned. So you can replay the game if you want to and see what you can do differently in the game, and this of course is part of the gameplay mechanics as well in the game. So yeah, that's it for gameplay, guys. And the gameplay is quite simple and very similar to their previous games. In fact, it's spot on the same, and of course, if you play the other games that they made, you will be familiar with the gameplay, of course, and how the game actually plays through as you continue to play. Yeah, that's it for gameplay. Next, let's talk graphics. Character models look really, really good in this game. It does look in all of the games. The character models always look great. The facial animations are great. Lighting is also great. Environment design, and it of course adds to the horror atmosphere. And compared to the previous games in the Dark Pictures Anthology games, it is a little bit of a step up, but it is still quite similar in regards to the graphics. The character models just look amazing. I like the graphics and the art style that they go with in terms of their games. It's very realistic when it comes to the facial animations and things like that. You can see all the ticks in their faces as the characters express these different emotions in the game. So that's really cool. Graphics is really great. Next, I do want to talk about performance. Let's talk performance. How well does the game run on modern hardware in 2025? It does run really good, and of course, it does also depend on what on what system you're running it. If you're on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X. I am actually playing on PC, and I did get a steady 60 frames per second on high settings. And of course, there is different setting options depending on what hardware you have for PC. You'll obviously have to play with it a little bit and see what works for you. But for me, I was able to play it on high settings with 60 frames per second, very low latency, and of course, it ran very smooth. It does have support for high refresh rates, ultra wide monitors, and of course, a ray tracing if you do have a ray tracing card. So yeah, that's it for performance. Performance is really great. Next, I do want to talk a little bit about the sound design.
That's heroin.
Just keeps getting better by the minute. These people are nothing but common crooks. What the fuck was Eric thinking?
I want this place turned inside out. Fuck! I'm hit! Motherfuckers!
The quality of the voice performance is really good. I didn't find anything to be like bad when it comes to the voice performances, like the voice acting. I think they did a really good job when it comes to the voice acting and the performances. It was quite immersive, and then of course the music and sound effects does contribute to the harder tension. Sound effects was done really well, and the music score, I did a good job with the music. There is certain parts in the game where the music does really work, and they did very well when it comes to that regard. So yeah. Next, I do want to talk about the multiplayer. There is a multiplayer option, of course. It's online and local co-op gameplay. You get to play with somebody if you do want to online, and they control a particular character. But of course, you have to wait for the player that's playing, and then of course you get a chance to play, and you play with all these different characters, and that's how the multiplayer works. And it does affect decision making a little bit differently, because if you are playing online, I mean, you have to, of course, maybe have a mic connected, and then explain and say what to do with whoever you're playing with. Yeah, so I didn't get to test the multiplayer out too much, but from what I did play, the multiplayer does really hold up, and it does hold up really good. So next, let's talk verdict. Let's talk final verdict. Who should play the game? in 2025. If you love story games, decision-based games, making choices and how they impact the story, if you've never played the game, of course, as well, I feel like this should be the chance for you to play it. I mean, the game's quite old, but not very old, but I'm decently old, and it does hold up really well. Also, it's definitely worth revisiting or playing for the first time, like I did. So I want to give my rating and a final score on the game. I do give this game a solid 7 out of 10. I kind of want to give it a 7.5, but I mean, a 7.10 is a decent score for this game. And of course, yeah, that's my final score. I did enjoy playing this game. I trust that you will too if you love story games. If you love these kind of games like Until Dawn and Detroit Become Human, like these decision based games or the QTEs, the quick time events, you're definitely gonna like this game. Give it a try. Let me know in the comment section below if you completed it, if you're playing it for the first time, if you're revisiting it. I would like to know your thoughts in the comments. And of course, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content like this. And of course, I've been Gamerverse, and I'll see you guys in another video.